Hey guys, welcome to another episode of War Visions, and I'm back after my break from the game. I was still logging in and stuff like that. I just didn't really feel like posting, doing much. All I did was just log in dailies, log out. I just needed a break for the game, but I'm back now just in time for the anniversary and just in time to finish this tower event that they only gave us a week to do. It's like, wow, a week to do to do this. It's crazy, but I was able to get it done despite my busy work schedule. So this is EX floor 100. I was able to do it with MR units, but it took a while. It definitely took a while. Shorter time than others because I only had 2 days to do it, but in the nick of time, I was able to get it done once I figure out a pattern to go with. So the gimmick of this floor is Lightning Mage's Hurt. Skull deals massive damage, and the idea is that you have healers like Resnick and Grace to keep him up because he has his MA2 abilities, which gives him courage when he's at full health. So to compensate for that, they made him paper thin, so like he's easy to proc that courage. There's no way to I don't say no way, but you have to really poke damage at him to try not to pop the courage, because courage removal will not work on him. The other gimmick is that Ice Golem is here. It's a big tank that hits hard, and he's annoying to deal with. And then you got a bunch of ice and lightning units to pretty much slow you down or be annoying. So the idea I came up with to clear this floor was to deal with Skull first, because if you don't deal with him, he just wipes your party real quick. After you deal with him, and he has re-raise. After you deal with him, things get a little bit easier. Bringing units that could break barriers, get rid of protect, shell, remove haste, buff, stuff like that. All that is gonna help you out. But what helped me out the most, and the star of this run, is Lilith, and her ability to AP break and TP break the enemies. Now the golem is immune to AP break, so you can't really AP crush him, but you can AP crush pretty much almost everyone else, except for the other exception is the Dark Rama. So having Lilith here, I'm gonna go use her to go around the arena to AP crush and TP crush as much as I can to make things easier for this MR clear. Because if I don't do that, I'll wipe out. And I try to do it without doing the AP crush stuff, but it just was not happening at all. Another tactic you could go about this is to charm Shell, because she's actually susceptible to charm. It makes sense because she's a little girl in battle and doesn't know who's enemy or foe. She just listens to whoever tells her to do that. So you could charm her to have her on your side, but I noticed that even though you charm her, she's still kind of useless, because all she will do is haste herself, imperil and erode. She does it in a rotation, so she doesn't really help too much when you charm her. So I kind of had to scrap that idea as well. So I just went with the AP break everything. The most important target to AP break is Laswell, in my opinion, because he's just outright annoying if you don't have the gear to deal with him, because he has high defense piercing rate and slash piercing rate. So he's gonna do a lot of damage to you even if you prepare for that. So just AP break him will help even the odds. The next person to break is actually Grace. If you TP break her, she just swings. She will normal attack and do nothing else. And I use that to my advantage, as you're gonna see later on in the battle, because after 3 units are gone, I believe. Wait, 1, 2. Let's see. Resnick, Shell, Laswell, Grace, Skahal. So after 4 units are down, then the next wave starts. I left Golem alive. You can pretty much ignore Golem, because even though he's annoying with his attacks, you can easily prepare for him. Ice resistant and spirit defense, because most of his attacks are magic. So you don't have to worry too much about him. And if you bring fire units, they're going to be naturally resistant to ice, so that's fine. So my idea was ignore Golem, TP break Grace, because then Grace is just going to normal attack everyone. And you may think, oh, that's bad, but it's not, because her attacks are weak, and she usually goes after the weakest defense person on the map, or closest to her, in which case she usually goes after my Adalar. And I have Adalar on Regenerator counter attack, which helps gives him healing power up, because he's the healer of my group, and healing power up is just gonna help keep everyone alive. So I use that to my advantage whenever that procced up. Resnick, you want to both AP break and TP break if you can't kill her fast. AP break her first, because when she's not healing, she will actually attack. And her heals are massive. Like her heals and Grace's heal will heal the enemy units to max always. So you want to deal with that as soon as you can. You can also use healing power down, but I noticed that even when you heal power down, they still heal for a good amount. So it's just better to TP break them and not worry about healing. Shell is her moves are annoying. Her moves are just there to help the Golem do more damage. So the quicker you knock her out or charm her or whatever, the better chances of you having to deal with Golem's attacks. Because again, Golem by himself doesn't do much, but when Shell does her imperils, then that's when he starts hitting for a little bit harder. Lorenzo here doesn't have good magic defense or spirit, so he normally takes the most damage from Golem. But even, as you can see throughout the video, that even Golem can't really do that much damage to him. Lazo can be paralyzed, and I would say use that to your advantage, because it will slow him down. It will help you knock him out quicker. You want to use like a fire mage, because he has no resistance to magic whatsoever. So utilizing a fire mage helps with that. That's why I have Alar here. He acts as the catalyst to deal with the 2 ice units that have no resistance to magic, which is Laswell, and then later on will be Victoria. Most of the lightning units are susceptible to missile attacks, mainly the mages. Vel, whatever her name is, the spirit girl, she'll come later. She's actually strong to missile. I think she's weak to strike, but I'll explain what to do with her when she arrives. So right now I got rid of Resnick. Grace is just running around smacking people with her staff, and now I'm going after Laswell, because after I go after Laswell and knock out Shell, that's when the next wave's gonna start. We're gonna leave Grace alive on purpose, because when the next wave comes, it's gonna be Vel, King Curry, and Victoria. Once 3 units are down in that wave, then Dark Ramuh comes up. If you already knock out Grace and you knock out someone else, then and then afterwards knock out 2 of the spear units, or King Curry one of the spear units, then Dark Rumble comes out, and then you're gonna have to deal with a spear unit or King Curry along with Dark Rumble, and that you don't want to deal with that. So we're using Grace as a holdover to delay Dark Rumble from coming, because if we kill the second wave while Grace is still alive, then Dark Rumble's gonna come while Grace is alive and the Ice Golem's still around. By this time, the Ice Golem's gonna have zero AP, and he's just gonna be doing normal attacks, which they're not gonna do anything. So you don't have to worry about it. And you just have to deal with Dark Rumble afterwards. But that was my strategy for this. Obviously, if you use UR units, it's much quicker. So if you're using UR units, my advice is bring one fire mage, or one fire mage, like Terra or someone. Bring your own healer for sure. And bring your tank. Those two are obvious. The tank I suggest should be Earth, or a magic tank like a Spellblader or something. Because a majority of the units here do magic attacks, but you also have to deal with spear units later. So if you bring a magic tank, make sure that tank has some good physical defense or pierce resistance to help with that. Bringing Earth Gunner will make your life much easier, because Rumble's weak, has no resistance to missile and is weak to Earth. I'm pretty sure this map is designed for that new Warrior of the Crystal Earth unit. So if you have him, this map will be super easy for you. I don't know how he operates or what he does, but if he breaks barriers, then that's a super plus. If not, bring someone that can break barriers, because the Golem will cast barriers up to 3 times, and Laswell will also cast his Mirage up to 3 times, and those can be broken with barrier breaking moves. So keep that in mind. And then if you have someone that can remove Protect Shell, that's a plus. So as you can see here, wave 2 has arrived. Victor, King Curry, and Vanille, or wherever her name is, I keep forgetting. King Curry is susceptible to confusion. Victor is nullify all status, but she has a weakness to magic. Vel is Vanille is susceptible to poison, confusion, disable. That's important. Because she likes to do obliterate, which casts doom, and if she's gonna cast doom on 1 or 2 of your party members like almost all the time. Plus, it gives her CT up, meaning she's gonna get a turn sooner. So she's your primary target to get rid of first. If you could disable her, that's an extra plus, because then you never have to worry about doom. Adelar has March of the Saints, so if your healers has March of the Saints, that's a super plus that will help you deal with her. And it's just a matter of just killing her as fast as you can. I try to AP break her as soon as I can, so I don't have to deal with the doom. Because a lot of my runs failed because she would catch doom on my party members, and I don't have many ways to revive my party members. Adelar only has Raise, and Raise is only a 50% chance of reviving someone, which is not good. And if you're wondering why I'm using Adelar and now another healer with full life, I tried to use Fina, I tried to use some other healers, but Adelar just fits perfectly for this, because of his typing and because of his resistances. Like he has good magic resistance, good pierce resistance, good missile resistance. I think the only thing he's really weak to is strike, and there's not really much strike in this map besides the Golem. Golem does strike, but because Adelar has I built Adelar to have good ice resistance, it didn't really do much damage to him. So Adelar was just a perfect fit, and if my units could just tank the hits, I don't ever have to worry about raising someone else, raising someone up. Of course, practice, doing this over and over allowed me to be able to do this clear with minimal casualties, so I didn't have to worry about rage too much. And it is a long battle with MR units, so TP management is key. I wasn't using Warrior Light's Trustmaster for this because I just really didn't have the space. No, not the space. I don't know why I didn't use it. Now that I think about it. I don't know. I kind of forgot, I guess. Oh, another thing about Wave 2s, they like to do Frostbite, which really slowed me down. So if you have Frostbite resistance, that's a super plus because that just slows you down. Or ways to heal it. I do have Asuna on Adelar, which can heal Frostbite, but because I'm conserving my TP, I opted not to use it. I just went for the long route. Because Adelar was near Vanille, I didn't have to worry about him getting doomed because he's on March of the Saints. When she moved closer, that's when I decided to AP break her, and now it's just a race to just beat her, kill her as fast as possible, pretty much. My goal here was to make sure Mustadio stays alive because he's the only Earth Gunner MR in the MR rankings, and he's limited time. So if you don't have him, and if you don't have the Earth Gunner for the Warrior Crystals, what alternative can you use? You could use any Earth unit. Honestly, it's just the Earth Gunners would be more ideal to accomplish this, because you could shoot both Skahal and Dark Ramu from far away and do massive damage to them. But I'm trying to think if there's other Earth Gunners. There's Durando, who's sub job gunner. That might help. I didn't really think about that. I thought about using him, but I didn't. He doesn't have good magic defense and spirit, but he has really good physical defense, so he's an option. But I don't know, I went with Mustadio because Mustadio I haven't used much, so I wanted to use him. Here he died, and I was like, crap, I need him alive at the very least, so I only have 2 chances to revive him. Meanwhile, I'm making sure I'm trying to get rid of Vanille as fast as I can, doing as much damage as possible. So I'm taking care of her with both Lilith and King and Mont. So while I do that, I had Lorenzo here to try to speeding things along because King Curry's getting closer, and him doing his Frostbite barrage really sucks. Because we're near Golem and Grace, it's less likely he's gonna do it because then he's gonna hit his allies, which is a good thing. But whenever he does do it, it's just annoying. So here I use Adelard, try to raise, and my consensus sheet, my plan B, if the raise didn't work, was to hope and pray, because I really want Mustadio for Dark Ramu to do, so that way he could do as much damage as possible, because again, having an Earth Gunner just really helps against knocking Dark Ramu down as fast as possible. And yeah, I don't know any other Dark Gunner. I mean, there's probably another one I'm just not thinking of. I mean, not Dark Gunner, Earth Gunner. But Mustadio on the Warrior Crystal one just comes to mind because those are like their main job's gunner. There's probably sub gunners besides Durando that I just can't think of right now. Oh, and then there's Mott throwing rocks. that helps because it slows Dark Ramuh's movements. Actually thinking about it, throwing rocks around this map just helped out a lot in slowing down a lot of movements and helping me plan out. So if all else fails, just throw a rock. You'll be fine. So here, I was running out of AP. So the one thing that's great about having Grace around is that since her healing power is higher than normal, if she procs her regeneration, she's just gonna heal herself up with the regeneration alone. And because she just normal swings and does nothing else, you could use her as a way to build up your AP through the means of normal attacks. So if you're finding yourself in this situation where it's gonna take long, and you using this strategy of keeping Grace alive, just use her as an AP sponge, but just don't kill her until wave 2 is dead. Because again, you don't want to have any of these wave 2 units alive when Dark Ramuh's around. But once Dark Ramuh's up, you can kill her. And as you can see, Ice Golem is low on AP, so he's not doing much of his his magic attacks now. And he's just doing more of his physical stuff, so that's why Lorenzo's still surviving. At this point, Lorenzo done his job. I don't really need him alive. One of my strategies was to have one person killed off. That way I could utilize the crystals that they spawn once they permadead. But that didn't really come to play this go around because I was doing so good at killing units fairly quickly and taking hits pretty well. Part of that is because I actually did adjust my gear a bit before doing this run, and part of that was actually utilizing pink trust stones. They're not optimized, as you can see towards the end of the video with the gear view. They're not optimized, but the pink trust stones do give more stats, and just by having more of those stats helped out a lot. I try to optimize as best as I can, but when you have a limited amount of resets to try to get the stuff you want and only less than a day to finish this, yeah, I had to work with what I had. Another thing that made this possible is all the upgrades that they've been doing to the jobs lately. Like their Karaga is a bigger field now, so being able to just heal all those units within a spot just helped out a lot. I remember Karaga being a smaller field, and it wasn't that. It was still good, but it just, you had to crowd more closer together to get it done. So that was useful. So here I extended the length of the Earthen Pearl from the Esper by summoning the Earth Deer. I am not pronouncing his name because I'm bad at that. And because King Curry is susceptible to confusion, it was just logical to summon him in front of Curry, so that way Curry could be less annoying for a little bit. And at this point, I thought Lorenzo was just not going to survive. But I figured, you know what? Let's just try to keep him up as long as possible, because even though he's no longer really needed, he can still try to push for damage as much as possible to speed things up, because this could have been way longer. This was probably my fastest clear compared to all the other runs I was doing, because this is about almost 40 minutes. No, yeah, almost 40 minutes long. And my other runs, I was 40 minutes in and I still didn't get to wave 2. That's how bad it was. So that was that's another thing. But that's because I just kept trying and I figured out what to do the more I was getting into it. So at this point, Vanille's down, trying to get rid of Victoria, because she's also annoying, simply because she just jumps a lot. And just like Laswell, she's more weak to magic attacks than any other attack. So I needed to rely on Adelar to do damage. The only problem was I wasn't getting much windows to do such damage. Between her jumping and he needed to heal people. But we're gonna get there. King Curry's almost down. He's only annoying if you don't have frost resistance like I don't have on this team. I think Adelar gives frostbite resistance, but only to fire units as his master ability. It's either him or another fire MR unit. I forget which one. Another thing is I'm trying to get into a position where no one can attack me, because I really do not want Mystario to die. So I also had to I couldn't generate AP because I was under frostbite. So honestly, I don't know why I attacked Grace. I guess I was just whittling her down a bit more. But as you can see here, we were able to AP break Victoria. No, we're doing that here. We're gonna AP break here, so that way she's less annoying and don't have to deal with the jumps anymore. And now we're gonna start whittling her down a bit more. Unfortunately, I couldn't get her through Lorenzo, and I didn't want to attack Grace, so I took the chance and attacked the Golem. One thing about attacking the Golem is that if you have units near him, he's more likely to proc his counterattack, which does AP break and frostbite, and that's just the worst. And that just slows things down even further, which is why I was making sure I didn't attack him too much. Some of my units have reaction block rate, like Adelar, but since I wasn't focused on trying to get rid of Golem, I was just kiting him around. I didn't really worry about that. But if you have reaction block rate on your units, then that's gonna help big time on this map as well against Ice Golem, against Skullhole, especially Skullhole, because his counter rate is really good and annoying. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Yeah, I don't know what else you would need. What are the suggestions for UR units? So fire mages like Terra are really good. Earth gunners like the Warrior Crystal, Earth Gunner, Mystario even works just fine. Your tank, either Spell Blader or an Earth tank. I opted with Mont because I figured I needed more of the physical defense than the magic, but I upped his magic defense as much as I can, so he could still take the hits from the lightning mages. Your attackers, again, the magic and gun mage, yeah, that's pretty much it. You could use any other unit as long as they fit the criteria of either breaking barriers, getting rid of protect and shell, stuff like that. Your espers should match your elements because that's gonna help you do more damage, especially bringing earth elemental espers, because that's gonna help really do damage to Dark Golem before he starts wreaking havoc. Cause not Dark Golem, Dark Ramuh. Cause Dark Ramuh, if you leave him running around, he's just gonna zap all your guys in just a few hits. Cause his magic attacks stun, lower lightning resistance. They have good range. Their AoE. One way I tackled that was to still stay near the golem, because he has to move in an awkward position to try to AoE your party. But if the golem's in the way, he's less likely to get all your units. He's only gonna get some. That was another beautiful thing about this golem. Just keeping it around helped block a lot of AoE attacks that some of these units can do. So that was the benefit of that. If you could tank the golem, then you're fine kiting him around and saving him for last. So we finally got Victoria down, and again, since Grace is still up, Victoria counted as the third person to trigger Ramuh's arrival. So now all we're left is just Golem, Dark Ramuh, and Grace. Grace is from here on is gonna die because we no longer need her, and we're just gonna try to focus as much as firepower as we can with our Earth units to get rid of Dark Ramuh. The faster he's gone, the better. Because this team, even though I added some magic defense, resistance and stuff like that, he's still gonna hit them pretty hard, and I need them to survive as long as I can. So here I'm just setting myself up, getting rid of Grace there to get some AP going. Golem is out of AP or out of moves, so I have to worry about him. And you see, because I'm near Golem, and that was accidental, I didn't even plan that. The Golem moved to me. Dark Ramuh had to move around the Golem to do damage to him. I decided to not AP break, attack break and agility break the Golem to just slow him down a bit more. And at this point, it's just since Lorenzo's still alive, I figure we're gonna use you to do some damage. As you can see with the Earth from Peril up, he's still gonna do some decent damage to Dark Ramuh, even though Dark Ramuh has resistance to Pierce. I think he's just not resistant to missile. That's why they recommend missile units. Here I just threw a rock at him, lower his movement a bit, and that's gonna help chain with Lorenzo's damage. As you can see, I reached cap damage, so that's good. Here, Mustadio has the range, so he was able to cap damage there to even do more damage. And now Ramuh's less than halfway done. Like again, we're just trying to kill him as fast as possible. Because Dark Ramuh is almost dead, I figured now is the good time to activate the Fire Imperil. That, and I ran out of Earth Imperil, Earth Espers also. Only brung 2 in this mission. But I figured now's a good time to start whittling down the Golem, while Lorenzo and Mustadio just try to finish off Dark Ramuh. So having a team of 3 Earths and 2 Fires worked well for me, so it might work well for you with UR units, and it's gonna be a lot faster with UR units, that's for sure. It's not gonna take this long with MR units. Most of it is because running out of AP. MR units compared to UR units, you know, stat wise are just different. Here I ran out of AP, so I'm just doing as much damage as I can. Lilith and Adelar are just gonna focus on the Golem. I wanted to AP crush the Golem, but I forgot you can't really do that. But this move actually works on him because it's not completely trying to drain his AP. It will just do maximum 20 break, which was good. Here I figured either I heal Mustadio or I go off the Golem, and I decided to just go off the Golem. Lorenzo's gonna die, If he kills off Lorenzo, not Mustadio, I have chances. We just keep throwing rocks at him because that's the best thing I could do. Lorenzo sadly ran out of AP. At this point, I just said, well, now I do not need him anymore. Rommel's almost dead. He goes after Lorenzo and Mont, stunning Mont, which got me worried. It really got me worried. I ran out of AP with Lilith, so I figured if I just stay in one place, I'll be fine. We got a quick shot in, bring his HP down even further. At this point, I wanted to make sure Mustadio survived Dark Rommel's attack. So I just said, you know what? Did I heal? I thought I healed him. Oh, I was deciding whether I want to heal or do I want to go after the Golem. I think I decided to heal. Because Mustadio was my hope. And if he goes down, then our chances are lower by a tad bit because, you know, Dark Rommel has low HP, but that stun really sucked. But I'm glad I did because I don't know if Mustadio will survive that. We break Golem again, just for kicks, and then we shoot down Dark Rommel, got a crit, and now he's down. I keep saying Dark Golem, Dark Rommel. All that's left is Ice Golem, and he's easy at this point. You just wail at him. But oh man, yeah, this was long. But I like the challenge, and I look forward to doing this again with the new tower when that happens. But stay tuned. I'm gonna show you my gear after this.
Just as I planned. I will accomplish any mission.
Alright, here's the gear I'm using for the MR team that I used, starting with Mustadio. There's not many Earth Gunners. So if you don't have the Warrior Crystal Earth unit, I guess you have to use a gunner from a different element, which is fine, but preferably you want one that's Earth, so you could deal with the weakness and not have to worry about the resistances. If you do use a different elemental gunner, just make sure you have some imperils to help you do more damage. I gave him Titan because I wanted Esper. I needed Earth Esper first of all. I needed one with to help give him Spirit and do more damage, and Titan just fits perfectly. Plus the Lightning Eater helps with the damage output. Next here we have Mont tank. If you have the Earth Ring, perfect time to use it for this map. because that's just gonna help you resist the lightning attacks. That's why I say you want to use an earth tank, because you can utilize the earth ring to just up your lightning resistance even further. If you could up your lightning resistance to a high amount, the map's not hard. And there are plenty of earth units that can do that. Noctis comes to mind. If you have Noctis, then utilizing him for this map, you should be good, because he has good spirit, I think. Like, he's really good at taking magic hits. So he'd be perfect for this map. I gave my Fenrir, because Fenrir, when you summon him, he can paralyze. And Fenrir is a really good Esper for magic resistance and slash attack. And most tanks are slash attackers, so it just works perfectly for him. Lorenzo, he's here mainly to break things. Break barriers, dispel protect shell, dispel haze, break auto restore, because that's his new master ability, that when he crits he could break dispel auto restore, which I think is cool. Sorry if I'm getting a little sore throat, so if I sound a little off, that's because it's that. I was able to get his defenses, his magic defense up a bit, with his armor, but he's still kind of weak to magic, so it's just something to keep in mind. You don't want to bring someone weak to magic on this map, because the magic units just hurt. I used the Earth Deer. I not pronounce his name. He just fits perfectly for Lorenzo. Spirit unit, Earth unit, Lightning Eater, all the things necessary to do as much damage as possible. Lilith here is the AP breaker and TP breaker. Utilizing her was fun. Normally maps will have it so that the unit can't be AP broken, because they're resistant to it. Like the Ice Golem on this map, he's resistant to that. But knowing that other units were successful to this, really made this possible. So Lilith's my MVP. If you're struggling with this map, I suggest you get a unit like a knight unit that could break AP and TP, and that will really help you clear this level whenever you go around to do it. So definitely helps out with that. Other than that, I prefer Tyrell, but because there's lightning units on this map, Tyrell is not gonna survive. So Lilith is your other great option if you want to break things, because she could break AP break pretty well, and her MA2 buffs and 120 buffs just really make her a good breaker. So there's that. And if you want, you could sub her as a ranger for more missile damage. I subbed her as soldier simply because of the paralyzing edge move, and that just helped keep Blaswell at bay whenever it procced. So that was good. And then Alar here is the healer, but also the magic dealer to deal with, try to kill Laswell quicker and Victoria quicker, because it's accessible to magic. So having one magic mage really helps out. Like I said before, Terra would be your go-to fire mage. There are other fire mages as well. Any of them are good. If they're able to heal, that's a plus, because then you don't have to slot in a healer. So that helped. And I gave him Space Chicken, because I forgot the name of the Esper right now. Just to help boost up the Esper gauge a bit, and just so he could cast his offensive spells quicker, which is mainly the Faraga spell that I use more often. And yeah, that's about it. The cards were more tailored towards the Earth units, because I knew Dark Rommel was a problem, and he had to go quick. And then every other person had rainbow cards to help try to benefit as much as the team as possible. Ice resistance helped out to survive Golem's hits. Magic resistance as well. But yeah, and then I needed the speed because MR units are slow. But anyway, that's it. Hope you guys enjoy. See you guys next time. Laters.